wondered if living in another state resulted in a better lifestyle, or better yet, if living in California is better than living in Ohio? My opinion is that Ohio is actually better in my opinion. From my experience going to California, San Francisco to be exact, I noticed that the lifestyles were different in California than Ohio. It's kind of a mixture of wealthy and kind of old-fashioned lifestyle. Like in San Francisco, they still use horse-drawn carriages and cable cars for transportation. Ohio has more modern lifestyles than California. According to State Fact Sheet California, like in 2008 and 2009, like the per capita income was like in 2008, 49,678, and in 2009, $42,395 as income. And like the earnings per job is like in 2008, $57,266 in 2008, and in 2009, $57,291. And according to Ohio Facts, the median household income is $46,296, but as reported in an American Community Survey from 2005 to 2007. And the souvenirs, like hoodies and stuff, like when we went, hoodies there were like range from like 20 to 25 bucks, and so in the San Francisco souvenir shops. In Ohio, they range from like 10 to 15, whenever, like depending on where you get it. Now the structures are like really different too. Like San Francisco, like their hills are like this. So as you can see, depending on the structure, it looks like steps. Well, and like this is by the Ohio River, that like how like flat it is, and of how like everything is like 90-degree angles and stuff like that. You know, like transportation, as I said, like they still use cable cars and carriages. And when I went, we actually rode on some of the cable cars, and it was so packed because a lot of people did that. We actually had to hang on to the bars and try to get off like whatever's closest to the hotel that we stayed at. And then they also, because like everything was almost so close, that we stayed at the Argonaut Hotel, which was rated like 4 stars out of 5. And that was like, and Fisherman's Wharf was spot at, so it was like in walking distance. And that like they also use cars, and it is an 2004 Ferrari F430, and like that was parked in front of Argonaut Hotel, so I used that picture, and my dad actually took it, and that it kind of showed like how wealthy like the lifestyle would be in San Francisco. And like the average cost was $176,482. And like in Ohio, like I mainly see Toyotas around, and even though you hardly see them, people use buses as transportation. And from my experience, I noticed that even though I was born and raised in Ohio, that when my family moved to California, San Francisco, we had to get used to the San Francisco and California lifestyle because it was so different from Ohio, like cost-wise. We had to get used to the cost difference, the different structures and transportation, since we were so used to driving everywhere that we weren't used to like the walking and the cable cars. As well as the time difference, because they're like 2 to 3 hours behind us, so we would lose like 2 to 3 hours of sleep. In short, depending on the state you're born and raised in, as well as the state's lifestyle, is different from someone else from a different state.